Tell us your name and tell us the name of the project.
Sure. Karen King, and I am the Commissioner of Public Advocacy for Erie County, as well as the Executive Director for the Erie County Commission on the Status of Women.
Tell me about the Trailblazing Women Project. How did it begin?
It started with an idea, as many of these projects start. We were hosting an economic justice conference back in 2017. My dear colleague from the Gender Institute, Kari Winter, said, you know, there aren't very many statues of women around our community. And as soon as those words rolled out her mouth, I knew there would be a project coming down the pike. And sure enough, a group of us organized officially in 2018 to form a steering committee to explore what would be involved in placing monuments of trailblazing women from Western New York in our community. We really made a conscious decision to recognize women that you may not have heard of, that represent the entire community, because what's really important is this whole project is about representation. We know representation matters. So we wanted to ensure that we were representing members of the community who really built this community. So it was important to have an Indigenous Native American Seneca woman. It was important to have an African American Black woman, and of course Louise Bethune, a white woman, but the first professional architect in the United States who was a big proponent of equal pay for equal work way back at the turn of the century. And I didn't know a lot about Louise Bethune. I knew that she was an architect, and I knew that she had designed the Lafayette Hotel. I didn't know that she was a staunch advocate for equal pay for equal work. And she also was, I think, the first woman in the area to own a bicycle and started a bicycle club. And that may sound kind of quaint and charming, but when you think about the idea of mobility as a way to challenge patriarchy, and when at that time women really weren't encouraged to travel without a chaperone, right? A brother, a father, a spouse. So a bicycle was a way to be free. Particularly, Mary Talbert was instrumental in the civil rights movement, but also a human rights leader who traveled all over the world and spoke and really laid the groundwork for anti-lynching legislation. And Geraldine Sid-Tah Green, a keeper of faith and language and culture in the Seneca Nation, and of course, the Seneca culture and the idea of a matriarchal culture, really laying the groundwork for the early suffrage movement. So these are really important women with great stories. So I presented this idea to the county executive because this was a Commission on the Status of Women project.
Mark Poloncarz.
Yes, our county executive, Mark Poloncarz, who you know is a big proponent of public art. And when I approached him, I assumed that we would have to do all the fundraising ourselves. I certainly wasn't assuming that he would offer to help subsidize this. So when I presented the idea, he said, that's a great idea. How much money do you think you need? We came up with an estimate based at the time, now this is pre-COVID, and he said, well, I think we should be able to secure at least half that funding, or maybe more for this project, through the cooperation of the legislature. So the county executive and, under the leadership of April Baskin, our legislative chairwoman, and the entire legislature unanimously supported the project. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who would openly verbalize opposition to recognizing women's contributions to society. We know that women are woefully underrepresented in the public sphere, and the project was met with enthusiasm and support. There are a lot of layers to the work. It is a collaborative experience, so the finished product reflects the work of many, many people doing many different things. Of course, the artists who create the vision, the people that are involved in the actual fabrication, the pouring of the bronze, the molding of the statue, the infrastructure. Where are you going to put the statue? What's underneath? What type of clearance do we need? Is there sewage lines, water lines, electrical lines? Do we need to get permission? Is this a preservation space? So a lot of details go into the actual project. Bethune and Geraldine Sid-Tah Green were made by one artist, Ji Wang Che. And Mary Talbert was created by Vinnie Bagwell. It was a rigorous process, as you can imagine. Anytime you engage in a contract with county government, we go through a rigorous process. We put out a call for proposals, and we outlined the criteria we're looking for, and this was a national search. We received many, many proposals. Sculpture, art is a very specific type of work, and you have to have a very kind of specific set of experiences to do this work. I think that it's really important for us to recognize that we've changed the actual landscape of our community. You know, we valorize what we value in a society. So when you walk around and you look at what's represented in the public realm, for the most part, it's men. So what does that say about a community and its values? So when you make a conscious choice to recognize women in the public realm, that's saying we matter. And that's an important statement, and it's part of a legacy that we really want to be part of our history, because women are doing trailblazing acts every day in their communities. Some on a large scale, some on a small scale that you'll never hear about, right? But every day, women are doing work and providing commitment and passion to work in their immediate communities and the larger world. This is just phase one. We are going to continue recognizing women. We're going to have a plaque program where we'll place plaques of women geographically significant areas in Western New York, as well as a living trailblazing women narrative project. We are archiving and collecting video testimonials of living trailblazing women. And women who are doing trailblazing acts right now who are still with us. And that'll be part of a traveling exhibit. It will launch at the Buffalo History Museum. We'll have an official launch probably next March as part of Women's History Month. So we really envision this project as an ecosystem of recognizing and raising women's voices.